Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadil Kabira. It's a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I'm here with Herman Manyora, political analyst and commentator. How are you doing today?
I'm okay, very good.
How have you been?
Wonderful.
Generally.
Wonderful, generally.
You're not...
Specifically wonderful.
Everything perfect. Looking at, we're going back to the streets. That's what Raila Odinga is saying. They were in Kamkunji, had a public rally, but they're saying they will go back to protests because they're ready for conversation, but they do not want a conversation that, as they put it, is under a contempt. First of all, are we going back to square one? That's the question most people have.
I would hate to imagine that is the case. So perhaps led by my feeling for this country, I would say no.
Feeling,
well, whether it is reason or feeling, I think let me go by feeling.
Let's be practical.
Yes.
Let's just be practical. Are we going back there?
It is possible.
Because they had demands.
It is possible. I really hate it to be true, but it's likely to be. It's possible.
We're going back to protest.
It's possible.
Is Azimio justified? Is Raila justified? Because you're looking at the demands he had before. And Ruto the president tried to meet some of his demands by saying, let's come and talk. And now he says, we don't want this kind of talk. We want now coming up with different demands again. We want it outside. Is it justified? Because some people would say, let's first sit and talk before you go back. How
do you talk? You know, Raila has not said anything he has not said before. He has not changed at all. He embraced the offer from the president, the olive whatever leaf.
Olive branch.
And he immediately said, it cannot be about IBC alone. And he said too, it cannot be within Parliament. That is restrictive. And I remember, and I'm sure you also remember, he said, talk should be held along the lines of the Kofi Annan talks of 2008 that produced the National Accord. You remember?
Yes.
So what is new he has said?
The fact that he wanted a conversation and the president said, let's have this conversation, a bipartisan one. And now he doesn't want that one because that was not part of his demands.
He still wants bipartisan.
He wants it to include people. That's what he said yesterday in Kampunji.
Bipartisan doesn't mean you can't include other people. Bipartisan basically would mean it is between the two parties. Yeah.
And he doesn't want that. He wants...
No, between the two parties is okay.
Yeah.
Each party can bring extra people. So the parliamentary people, the MPs will lead the discussion. So that when whatever they agreed on is ready, then Parliament will merely pass it in the manner in which they pass the National Accord.
Do you, for some reason, have a problem with the parliamentary way that President William Ruto wants? Is there a problem with...
The way he wants it is not possible, even if... How is it possible?
Why not?
How?
Why not? These are parliamentarians
so,
from both sides.
So what is the work of these people, 14 people? To draft a bill? Then it's debated in Parliament? And once something goes to Parliament, it will be subjected to parliamentary processes. There will be debate. There will be voting. And certainly, if it is something outside what they want, it will be defeated.
Okay.
But you see, for them, they just want to amend the laws regarding the constitution of IBC, which is a simple thing. So Raila is saying we cannot be sitting down to discuss something as simple as IBC. They want when there are bigger things to discuss.
There are bigger things.
Yes.
You feel, where are we now? When you look at the state of politics as it is, Raila Odinga saying he's going back to the streets, Rigathi Gachagua saying that they are not going to have this conversation, the only conversation they're going to have is in Parliament. What is the state of politics now in Kenya, if someone just asks you that?
I think it is bad. The state of the nation is bad, the state of politics is bad, the state of economy is terrible, everything is just bad.
You're not seeing any green light.
No, it's bad.
Everything is bad.
I'm a sad Kenyan. You see, what makes me actually sad is that the things that could bring this country down are very simple things we can sit down and resolve. But people think they are clever, other people think they are tough, but I've advised them. You can't be too clever. No. Neither can you have the force to have your way. Nobody can have their way. Nobody. It will crack. If you push, if Raila pushes too hard, it will crack. If Ruto pushes too hard, it will break. So who will benefit?
What's the middle point for you when it comes to this conversation?
Number one, talk. Number two, talk. Number three, talk.
Now,
when you sit down to talk, solutions will be found. Simple.
You think Ruto is not ready for these talks? Is that the case? The president is not
I think the president, from my thinking, must have been pushed into ceding ground, into extending what you are calling the olive branch. I think there must have been third-party forces. I think on his own, the president is convinced he can handle Raila. And therefore, he was willing to go the full hog. He was willing to dare Raila, to call his bluff. My advice to him is that you may not go far in that direction. So, I think, I don't know, but it's very difficult for me now.
It's very difficult to tell.
Because of my love for this country.
Yeah.
I don't want to imagine what I'm trying to see coming up. Because I don't think the president is very interested in this thing. I think once they agreed and they bought time and demonstrations were called off, I think they miscalculated. They thought, one, it will be very difficult for Raila to reignite the crowd. Now, yesterday, it's not possible. They thought people are not a tap you turn off and on, a switch on, a remote. They will tell Raila to go to hell.
Is that what you saw?
Yeah, I saw it. And I told them no, and yesterday you saw people are there.
Yeah.
People are with Baba. They also think, again wrongly so, that time cures everything. This thing, you buy time until it will fizzle out. You know they have been getting people from the Azimio side. You continue with that attack, getting people. Finally, you could end up isolating Raila, or at the very worst, Raila and Mother remain standing there. Everybody else has gone. You saw the president in Ukamban talking about Kalonzo and what. So again, I want to advise the president, that will not work. It's even the more dangerous route. Because if you neutralize Raila, whichever way you do it, you now are left to face the people without a leader. I've been talking to a taxi man a few minutes ago. And him and I agree that the day the people will choose to face the leaders in the streets without a leader, is the day this country will be no more. That's why one of the videos say Ruto should thank Raila. Because Raila will tell people, let's go home. Let's meet on Thursday. Let's wait for Ramadan. He will tell people. But if there is nobody to tell people, and you are dealing with them and they are hungry, because indeed people are going to be hungry. The few miserable tons of maize that are here has docked.
Wasn't that a step towards
there's no maize on the world market. There's no maize on the world market.
But at least let's...
Mimi nimechanuka, my friend. I do my search.
Can we just be happy?
I have done my search, I know.
Can we just be happy that...
You know, I don't just hear papa talking like people. I have done my search on the internet and everywhere. The shock I have got, but it's not a shock because I already talked about it, is the price of fertilizer. We are being lied to. There's no subsidy. It's just a game. So
people are going to be hungry?
People will be hungry. Everything will go up. The dollar will go crazy. You can't control the dollar by telling banks, come on, do this. No, that's not how it works.
But we will be
at some point, people will want dollars and they will not be there. Even if you postpone buying oil, paying for it 6 months. 6 months is not far. Itafika tu.
We'll be buying oil with our Kenya.
No, where there's nothing like that. No, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Miserable shillings cannot buy nothing. You are shillings. Yet you umebeba shilingi unaenda kununua kitu.
Fuel.
Kama mafuta.
It will not happen.
People will laugh until they will die. Kenya shillings. Is that do you have money?
But that is the assurance of the president. Can we just wait and see it happening?
Mimi, when I was your age, when I was in school, the shilling was 6 to the dollar. When I was in high school, 6 shillings, $1. The good old pound was 20 bob. The British pound. Deutschmark was, I don't know. What are you talking about? This is crazy. Everything is going to shoot. Things are going to be so bad that people will see using their teeth, not their eyes.
What is the general then assessment of the people when you saw them in Kamukunji? And nobody expected it would happen that way because people were annoyed. You said that when Raila decided to have talks with Ruto. What is the general assessment of the people on the ground now?
But Raila has touches people somewhere. The people are still not happy because they are still hungry. The leaders are still dilly-dallying on matters of food and fuel. No, you don't dilly-dally, you do something about it. I have said repeatedly, all you need to bring down the cost of electricity ni kungoa wezi tu. Is that so difficult for the president to do? Just to call the thieves and tell them, take a holiday. You have stolen so much. Take a holiday, go to Seychelles, Switzerland. Stop stealing for a while. The things are bad. And the price of electricity will just come down by 70% to 30% or even less. What? It's too.
From where you sit now, what do you think is...
I've told you about fertilizer. I'm going to do a video right now. Yeah.
Things are bad.
It's all jokes. It's all business. It's all theft. It's all plunder. It's all joking with the lives of Kenyans.
I saw President William Ruto addressing the situation in Sudan, and he said they ought not to get there. Is that where we are heading? Because we're looking at Sudan and everyone is watching and we're thinking, is that how easy...
You know Sudan has had many military coups. You know that, eh?
Yeah.
Not one. They have had their disturbance. They are used to it. We will die. I remind Kenyans, you know me, kazi yangu ile umri nimefika ni kwa advice tu. There's nothing I want. You know that, eh?
Yeah.
Have you seen me eating meat? Even one day?
Okuli.
Have you seen me taking alcohol?
No.
Have you seen me taking sugar? Have you seen me doing anything? Am I even interested in any holiday? I am not interested in anything. I am advising Kenyans. During the disturbances of 2007, 2008, within 2 weeks, even less, kalianza kunuka in the evening of 30th of December 2007. Tap, karisasi kakaanza kutembea, watu wanagongwa. A friend's son was hit. Zesh. Kak! Now, that was 30th of December. Before 10th of January, food was almost nowhere. There was no food in the supermarkets. Kenya is such a fragile economy, such a fragile political system. It cannot withstand disturbances. So don't compare yourself to Sudan. We can't withstand economic, social, political upheavals, even for a month. Look at Uganda. Amin took over power in a military coup in 1971. He was chased away in another coup in 1979, and so on. They have had those things until 1986 when Museveni came. They have had problems. They still sell food to Kenya. They have never gone hungry. If you go to Western Kenya, Western province, if you see maize that looks brownish, it's somehow like brown in color. But if you clean it, it is dust. They have this way of hitting the maize, shelling maize using sticks on the ground somehow. A lot of maize comes from Uganda. They don't even eat it because they have never left their indigenous foods. So those societies that can survive on their own indigenous foods may go long periods even when there are upheavals. Nyinyi hapa, shida ikitokea kidogo, kanuke tu kidogo, ukiamuka usiku nasikia siku mbili tatu ine, 2 weeks you will not die from guns, you will just die from hunger. Kenyans will die from hunger, nothing else. There will be no food.
Raila says this.
That's why I'm warning Kenyans. And I'm warning them. You, wapi hiyo kamera?
Ile pale, kuna kimuta.
Nyinyi Kenyans, mimi nawaonyo. Msicheze na nchi yenu. Kitu kakinuka kidogo tu. This country cannot withstand upheavals. We are a very fragile economy, a very fragile political system. Let's not compare ourselves to Sudan. They can withstand it. They have been there before. We can't.
If you were to whisper on Ruto...
Let's not even imagine.
Tell me, if you were to talk to Ruto today, what would you tell him? Because this situation, I think, it's all in his hands. What
I will tell Ruto this is a very small matter. Don't listen to anybody. If you want to listen to somebody, call me. Let's have tea together and I tell you the way out. This is a very small matter. Why can't he invite me? This is a small matter. Bravado will not take anybody anywhere. The people who are chasing, these are cowards. I told you I gave somebody a lift from some force. He was telling us how tough he was, the paramilitary training he had received. Then something happened. Alikojoa kwa gari yangu.
What happened?
That day, if I didn't that day, I think I will hit 100. Let me give you the story briefly. We were coming from Mukizaki to his home. He did Tuna Estate or where. And we had spent the whole day rioting there. So I got lost. I kept moving in that estate. And that's the time there was a lot of insecurity in the country. So I think the people, the estate people, called the squad, what do they call it? Flying squad. They are guys suspicious. I would go there, you know the way you go in this rich estate, you reach a dead end. Because I was following Mukizaki and he went so fast, I lost him. And other people had gone. By the time I got at Sarit, there were flying squad guys there. Guns cocked. And I stopped. I don't know where my God came from. I just shouted at them. And I never removed my hands from, like, get out, seat belt. They would have killed me.
Hands on the wheels.
I just said, don't kill me the way you kill innocent people. I'm not a criminal.
The guy,
so when that was over, and because I didn't do my hands like on the seat belt or anything, they were just on the way I met black Americans have learned
stay on the wheel.
Don't remove them there. And I was shouting. I don't know why I got the voice.
Simba.
Now, when it was over, now I got out of the car and whatever. One of the boys was my student at the university. He told him, Mwalimu, and just go and slaughter a goat. I don't know how you have survived. Nobody in these circumstances would have survived. Just enda kula mbuzi mwalimu. Hata mimi nikupe pesa uende ununue. He couldn't believe. Hapo kwa Sarit Center up. So I was dropped this guy in town. I realized I'm a kojoka. And he had been telling me, oh, you know me, I was a DO. Before I left to become an HR somewhere, akisikia atajua ni yeye. So when I was a DO, we had gone to Embakasi for a medical, and then I also had another one also from NYS. The three moja ndio walikojoa. Ule wa mbele hapa.
So we cannot survive.
So I'm telling Kenyans, let's not play with these things. These boys you are seeing looking tough. I want to these people who keep chest thumping. I don't know whether they can read. They are too lazy and too rich. But they should read a very simple book we read when we were in Form 1. Because we are looking for the beauty. The beautiful ones are not yet born, by Aikwe Ama. When they will see the minister escaping by going under toilet to go into exile, a coup has happened in Ghana. They should see that minister who has been bragging with the wife who had come to visit the sister, who is a poor person in the ghetto. And these ghetto toilets, the man was forced to sleep under.
Because things were bad. We don't want to.
I want to tell Kenyans, please, this is a gift from God. This country is a gem. It's a jewel gifted to you by God. Don't tempt fate. Don't tempt God. Don't stretch your luck too far. We've been living on luck for far too long. And therefore, even this taxi man has told me, I watch you, I listen to you. He's called John. John told me, continue telling Kenyans, they should not play with this country.
Let's not stretch our luck too far. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been our political conversation on the state of politics as things are. Until we do talk again, have yourself a lovely rest of your day.